Did you know that a single word in the original Greek text of the Bible can completely alter the meaning of an entire verse? Today, we're going to explore one such word that has led to widespread misinterpretation of a crucial passage. The verse in question is Philippians 4:13, which many of you may know by heart. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This powerful statement has been a source of inspiration and comfort for countless believers. However, its common interpretation might be limiting its true significance. The misunderstanding of this verse has far-reaching effects on how people view their faith and apply it to their daily lives. It's often used as a motivational tool, suggesting that with Christ, we can achieve anything we set our minds to. By the end of this video, you'll discover how a deeper look at the original Greek text reveals a meaning that's both more nuanced and more profound than you might have realized. This new understanding could transform your perspective on faith and perseverance. As we dig deeper into Philippians 4:13, a question arises. What if this verse isn't about achieving your goals at all? The widespread understanding of this passage might be obscuring a far more profound message about faith and perseverance. Many of us have encountered Philippians 4:13 as a source of inspiration and motivation. It's often quoted on social media, printed on motivational posters, and even emblazoned on athletic gear. The common interpretation suggests that with Christ's strength, we can accomplish anything we set our minds to. It's become a spiritual rallying cry for those facing challenges or pursuing ambitious goals. This understanding has found its way into countless sermons and teachings. Pastors and leaders often use it to encourage their congregations to dream big and push through obstacles. It's applied to everything from career aspirations to personal growth, suggesting that faith in Christ is the key to unlocking unlimited potential. I remember a time in my own life when I clung to this interpretation. As a college student, I faced a particularly challenging semester with a heavy course load and extracurricular commitments. I'd repeat Philippians 4:13 to myself like a mantra, believing it meant that with Christ's help, I could ace every exam, lead every project, and still maintain a balanced life. I pushed myself to the brink, convinced that any failure or setback meant I wasn't relying on Christ's strength enough. While this common interpretation can be uplifting, it's not without its problems. For one, it can lead to a prosperity gospel-like mindset, where we expect success in all our endeavors simply because we believe. This can result in disappointment and even a crisis of faith when things don't go as planned. Additionally, it can create a self-centered view of faith, where Christ's strength is seen primarily as a tool for our personal achievement rather than for His glory and purposes. Moreover, this interpretation doesn't quite fit with the context of the letter to the Philippians or with Paul's life experiences. Paul faced numerous hardships and setbacks in his ministry, including imprisonment, beatings, and shipwrecks. If Philippians 4:13 meant he could accomplish anything through Christ's strength, why didn't he simply escape these trials? This discrepancy hints at a deeper meaning behind the verse, one that might be far more relevant to our daily struggles and the true nature of faith. As we'll explore in the next section, understanding the historical and linguistic context of Philippians 4:13 reveals a message that's both more challenging and more comforting than the common interpretation suggests. To truly grasp the meaning of Philippians 4:13, we need to step back in time. What if the key to unlocking this verse lies not in our modern understanding, but in the cultural and linguistic landscape of ancient Philippi? The answer might surprise you and completely transform how you view this familiar passage. Let's transport ourselves to the 1st century AD to the Roman colony of Philippi in Macedonia. Paul wrote his letter to the Philippians while imprisoned, likely in Rome. This context is crucial because it shapes the entire tone and message of the epistle. The Philippian church was facing persecution and hardship, much like Paul himself. In this light, the idea that Philippians 4:13 is about achieving personal goals or success seems out of place. Instead, it's more likely that Paul was addressing the challenges of maintaining faith and contentment in the face of adversity. Now let's examine the original Greek text. The key phrase we're focusing on is panta ischio, panta ischio. Panta means all things, but ischio is where the misunderstanding often occurs. While it's commonly translated as I can do, a more accurate rendering would be I have strength for, or I am able to endure. This subtle difference in translation changes everything. Paul isn't saying he can accomplish anything through Christ. Rather, he's stating that he can endure any situation or circumstance through Christ who strengthens him. The context of the surrounding verses supports this interpretation. In verses 11 to 12, Paul writes about learning to be content in any situation, whether in plenty or in want, in abundance or need. This sets the stage for verse 13, where he reveals the source of his ability to remain content regardless of circumstances. Furthermore, the Greek word endunamu, translated as strengthens, carries the connotation of being empowered or enabled. It's not about gaining superhuman abilities, but about being divinely equipped to face life's challenges with steadfastness and contentment. This understanding aligns much more closely with Paul's experiences and teachings throughout his letters. He often spoke of enduring hardships, persecution, and setbacks, not miraculously overcoming them or achieving worldly success. Paul's focus on perseverance through hardship challenges our modern interpretations. But what if this seemingly limiting view actually opens up a world of spiritual freedom? The answer might revolutionize your daily walk with God. As we've discovered, Philippians 4:13 isn't about achieving personal goals or success. Instead, it's a powerful statement about endurance and contentment in all circumstances. The correct interpretation, based on the original Greek text and historical context, reveals that Paul is saying, I have strength for all things through Christ who empowers me. This understanding aligns perfectly with Paul's experiences and teachings throughout his letters. He consistently spoke about finding strength in weakness, joy in suffering, and contentment in all situations. This interpretation also resonates with other scriptures such as 2 Corinthians 12:9-10, where Paul boasts in his weaknesses so that Christ's power may rest on him. The implications of this new understanding are profound for our personal faith and daily life. Instead of viewing Christ's strength as a means to overcome every obstacle or achieve every goal, we can see it as the power to remain steadfast and content regardless of our circumstances. This shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating. In my own faith journey, this realization has been transformative. I've stopped measuring my faith by my accomplishments or the absence of difficulties. Instead, I've learned to find peace and purpose even in challenging times. When faced with setbacks or disappointments, I no longer question my faith or God's presence. I understand that Christ's strength is most evident in my ability to endure and remain joyful despite my circumstances. This correct interpretation has practical applications in our modern lives. For example, when facing job loss or financial struggles, we can find strength not in miraculously overcoming these challenges overnight, but in maintaining our integrity, hope, and trust in God throughout the process. In relationships, it means finding the strength to love and forgive even when it's difficult, rather than expecting every conflict to be easily resolved. For those dealing with chronic illness or long-term challenges, this understanding of Philippians 4:13 offers a different kind of hope. It's not about praying for a miraculous cure, although we can certainly do that, but about finding the strength to live fully and joyfully despite physical limitations. It's about discovering purpose and contentment even when circumstances don't change. This interpretation also challenges our culture's obsession with success and achievement. It reminds us that true strength isn't measured by our accomplishments or abilities, but by our capacity to remain faithful and content in all situations. It shifts our focus from external circumstances to internal growth and spiritual maturity. As we've explored, Philippians 4:13 isn't about achieving any goal, but finding strength to endure all circumstances through Christ. This interpretation aligns with Paul's experiences and teachings throughout his letters, emphasizing contentment and perseverance in hardship. Understanding this verse correctly can transform our approach to faith and daily challenges. It shifts our focus from external achievements to internal growth and spiritual maturity. We find freedom in knowing that Christ's strength empowers us to remain steadfast, regardless of our situation. To deepen your biblical understanding, consider studying original languages and historical contexts. Resources like Strong's Concordance or Bible commentaries can be invaluable tools. Remember, each verse is part of a larger narrative, and understanding the full context is crucial. As you reflect on this new perspective, consider how it might change your approach to life's challenges. How can finding strength in all circumstances, rather than overcoming them, reshape your faith journey?